One of our greatest emotional needs and even spiritual needs is for people to accept us for who and what we are. So that when we're being authentic and we're dreaming and we're exploring, an unconscious aspect of ourself and we're bringing that to the light, we're being vulnerable, that people are able to accept that part of us. They accept us at that moment and accept us for who, accept our authentic selves, I guess you could say. And the good news is that there are people that can do that. Now, what's not as great news, perhaps, is it may not be the people that you think it should be. So often, family members, friends, significant others, we feel like they should be able to, so parents is often where it came from, that they should accept us for who they are. And chances are, if they're not, chances are they're not able to. Okay, so one of my truth is that at any given moment, people either, the person you're with or people they're either able to accept who and what you are in that moment or they're not. Okay, and if they're not accepting you for who they are, chances are they're not able to. They probably even want to, but they're not able to. So I want to go over 3 different reasons you could say that that people are not able to accept you for who you are. And the first one is they can't comprehend who you are, or they can't comprehend that aspect of you. And this is, I've talked about this many times, this is a level of consciousness thing. It's like you can't comprehend something that's beyond, they can't comprehend something that's it's beyond their level of consciousness. So when you share this part of you that you share you above, and you're in a level of consciousness that's higher than theirs, they may not be able to comprehend it. So then they may even try, they'll take that and they'll bring you into their level of consciousness and accept their estimation of that, or their symbol of that, or they put you in a box and they accept that. That's as much as they can do. They're trying, but that's as much as they can do. But you don't get the full they get me. They don't vibrate in that with you. They can't. So that's one reason, is are they able to comprehend who I am in this moment? That's the first one. And the second one that often happens is that who you are in that moment is somehow threatening to them. Okay, and it's difficult for them, because it threatens them. If you're sharing an aspect of your beauty, okay, or whatever, your sensuality, or your truth, or your power, or your freedom, these are usually often the more higher, beautiful, more evolved parts, is like that becomes threatening to them, because then they see that they are not that, or at least not that at this time. So then there's a tendency for them to put it down or talk you out of it, unconsciously usually. So that's the second thing, is who you are at that moment, is it threatening to them? Okay, the third one, and these are all, they overlap a little bit, but the third one is who you are in that moment. Is it other than how they need you to be? Okay, this gets into kind of role dynamics. You often see this with family, and friends, is they put you in a certain role and they see you how they need to see you. They kind of put you in a box again, which is probably why it's related to the consciousness one, are they able to comprehend? It's probably some overlap there, but so they need you to be this, and then you awaken this new aspect of yourself, and then you are a new thing to them. And they just are not, they need you to be who they need you to be. They put you in a box. And so then then they're just not able to accept that you're not who they need you to be. And so that's the other thing is are they, you know, is the thing that you are now, is who you are now and who you're presenting to them, is it other than who they need you to be? So those are three different ways that can help you in your discernment if the person you're talking to is able to accept you for who you are, you know. And of course, you know, there's people may be able to accept some aspects of you and not others, you know. And so it's really important. Well, let's say it this way. So there's this tendency, unfortunately, that we human beings have this tendency, is when someone's not able to accept us for who and what we are, is to try to get them to. And I've talked about necessary loss, and it's like getting our parents that weren't able to accept us to accept us. I don't want to get into that again today, but it's like there's this tendency. It's like if I just can show them more of it, you know, that then they'll accept me who they are. If I can talk them into it or even manipulate them into it, or I can shine it in a light, then I can explain it just right, maybe then they'll accept. And of course that usually makes it worse, right? And it's not fair to either of you. It's not fair to you because you're not getting what you need. It's not fair to them because you're asking them to do something and be something that they're not able to. So the better thing to do is to accept that they can't accept that aspect of you, at least right now, and to find someone that can. Your energy is much better served, your investment is much better served to put that energy into finding people that can, you know. And this is a lot why we meet in groups, why we do sharing circles and dream groups and you know, men's groups and community activity. You know, it's like it's an arena that you can be yourself, you know. And one of my roles is to make sure that people, you know, first of all, there's a group of people that have a pretty high vibration that are drawn to it, so they're able to accept most. And if they're not, you know, my job is to make sure that that even if they are threatened by it, that they don't put that down, to make sure it's a safe place. And that's why we do sharing circles, so you can take this new part of you, this vulnerable part of you, and share it, and then have it celebrated, and people can be there with you. And there's likely people in the circle that also have awakened that part of them, or in the process of awakening that part of them. So then you get the vibration support thing. So that is a really important thing. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. So just notice when when you want to share, it becomes, I used to call it emotional responsibility. When you have a new thing that you're developing, a new dream, a new intention. We just did intentions in the spring, and we need people on a regular basis to be able to support these things. We want to talk about if we had a breakthrough, or we have a new thing that just unfolded, or a new doorway that opened for us. We want to be able to celebrate that. And that's great, but I just, please make sure, or try to, I try to find someone that's able to celebrate it, and if they're not, you can still share other things with them, but possibly not your cutting edge, dream or intention or spiritual truth. And so find someone that can, and then get that support that you need. Then you get your needs met. So that is my blog for this week, my video for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing week. And maybe just this week, think about, first of all, like, what are you needing to share, and what are you needing people to accept and celebrate in you? And then try offering it to people, and then notice if they're able to accept it, or are one of those three things I talked about getting in the way? Or are they starting to kind of just put it down a little bit? And if so, just simply, brush it off and find someone who can. And I will see you in a week.